What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. Step into the heart-pounding arena of the ESA Cup, where the world's most cunning tacticians clash in these Rainbow Six Siege battles. I am the Reverend Whiskey Glitter, and with me is my partner and co-host, the lovely and vivacious Dianic. What's happening, Dianic?
Hello, thank you. That was a quite lovely introduction of myself, but I'm hoping that's going to be great today. That's my main goal.
I think it's going to be incredible. Ones today, and where they're standing. Take a look at how we're going from here.
I would say, until we kind of fix these, I would say we go over to the progression standings. What has happened until now, and where we are right now in the standings in January, everything. As you guys can see, basically, we are kind of in the middle, right? We have the first stage done, we have the second, not stage, but kind of, progressions done, and now we're on the third one in the middle. We have the lower parts playing for us, and it's looking pretty good so far. We have the first few teams already advanced and qualified, and in the upper bracket, we have a few teams still fighting for it, and there's also a few teams who could be already going into elimination anytime soon here. So we can see on the bottom row, it's a little bit tough. And in the middle, they're still kind of safe. They could still potentially play for a 1-2, 2-1. We can see as soon as the elimination standards, we can see in the lower half, 0-2, they're in the critical part because as soon as they lose their next few games, they could potentially fall off the league. But also we have on the top part already a few who are advanced, further qualified for the stage number 2. And the games of today, I think you've seen, it's been announced. And I would say that we go quickly to the community predictions and see what you guys have prepared for us. But this is the production stuff. This is the production staff predictions. That's a little bit of a hard word there for me. It's like tongue twister a little bit, as I didn't quite read my papers there. Not gonna lie, it's a little bit on me. But 3 games of today. As we see on the top row, on the first match, is kind of a little bit equalized. Each 3-3 on the first one, on the lower part, always 3-3. At the end, we do have a little bit more the minions and the homes being further having one vote more. Other than that, the predictions look kind of equal. So it's nearly 50-50. Maybe one team above the match a little bit more favorized, but other than that, is nearly close to 50-50. But now we've seen the production staff. What does the community say about that, Whiskey?
Oh, and it looks like overwhelmingly in favor, 62%. So it looked like that the social prediction thinks we're going to have a pretty one-way match, but I don't know if that's going to be the case, right? They're bringing the heat today. They're bringing the hype. It's just a best of one. It's a sprint to the end. Time to pull out some of those pocket strats. I'm excited for it.
So am I. And before we keep you guys a little bit more waiting, just one more thing we have to go over, which is, yes, the map ban. What map are we going to see in the first round of today? It is, as you already mentioned a few times, it is a best of one. And you guys already have it prepared for you guys on the bottom row below us. It is going to be Clubhouse. And now we're going to have a few who are like, oh, not Clubhouse again. Not this, not that. But Whiskey, tell us why Clubhouse is here. Maybe potentially a really great map for the start.
We call it the Great Equalizer, right? This is a team that can go both on a defensive heavy map or an attacker favor map, depending on what kind of pace and style that you're bringing to the team. This is a map where you go to see both sides of the board. So it's got plenty of variables on the ways that you can attack it. You got some standard 2-prong approaches. You've got some of your standards that you see. I'm hoping that bans are going to be a little bit I don't know, off, right? I hope we don't see the standard Ying Dokkaebi because the Monty, huge, right? The Mira, huge. The Castle, these are all huge operators for the defense. And on attack side, seeing the Hibana, the Maverick, the Monty taking out really changes up the way the game's played. I love Clubhouse, or Dubhouse as it's coined, because it is the great equalizer. This is the map where any team can come up, and it's classic. It's one of the 3 classics. So you've got your classic strats, then you can watch on it as well. So the question is this either going to be a nod towards tradition or a speed to the contemporary way that Siege is currently played? You can go both ways on Clubhouse.
Exactly. I think you said it pretty well. I would kind of like to touch on that Montagne pick, or on the Montagne prediction that you would like to see at. If maybe if you know, maybe not. Today it's been announced again, shields are being buffed yet again. So I think Montagne can be a little bit big of a play. We know Montagne, Monty, Blitz, every shield operator has been buffed. So if one of these two teams want to take advantage of that, that could be a pretty good map. As you said, there's, for example, Rafters you can push, there's Dirt you can push Vermonti, there's what was it again? Jacuzzi, there we go. Jesus. I'm just gone. But there's Jacuzzi, there's so many ways you can push Vermonti, there's so many things that allows you now even more, because you can throw nades now behind the shield. You don't have to expose your head anymore. Yes, if you want to aim straight, if you want to aim precisely, you're gonna have to still expose your head. But other than that, the feetsies are gone. Your head stays behind the shield when you throw a nade. There's so many things that would buff a Monty play. And I think a Monty ban would come in quite handy. If the Monty ban is not there, then I would be a little bit afraid for one of the two sides, because there are not too many not too many operators working against the Monty. We have a few, but not quite too many.
Yeah, I completely agree. The walking drone, as we call him, right? Now he can shield bash, get really aggressive. It changes those 1vx situations where Monty is the last one alive, which, if you're a shield player, you know that dread seeing the fourth member go down, and it's now all up to you. But it's the rise of the shield, baby, right? It gives you that intel. It gives you that protection as you're pushing up, and especially, you're right, for areas like Catwalk, the dirt push, absolutely huge. So if we see the Monty band out, I'm looking to see some sort of kind of some variable to help that, right? At that point, how do you start taking that garage? It's got to be one of your pocket strats that you might not be necessarily ready for. And then on the attacker side of it, generally we're seeing those Ying and Dokkaebi bands, right? If you really want a well put together team on Clubhouse, gets rid of that hatch control, right? That and I think that could be one of the things that we today. And that's it.
Exactly. I think that was pretty well said. But the bans are not decided yet. The teams still have to show us which ban they would like to give us. The team has been penalized, though, as we have been given the information. So we will be starting in round number 2. We didn't have the chance to quite watch over the bans, so I'm quickly gonna just point out, you guys can see it on the top, we have a Ying and Fenrir banned by French Power, and a Floris, Jesus. Floris and Solus. I was about to say Floris, and I'm like, what? Hold on, I was a Floris?
The Flower Man.
Flower Man, Power Man. At the end of the day, they're not going to be played anymore. I think that's pretty much a good ban, but at least a few operators out. Exactly that Montagne, exactly that Dokkaebi. Especially Dokkaebi, which has been quite a lot of a meta operator, is now open on the board and accessible to play. Yet we don't see a single player from the side of Retirement Home to bring the Dokka or the Monty.
Interesting. Well, maybe not going for that necessarily huge push right at the gate. So we're gonna see we're gonna see the basement and a bit of a spawn peek as Zenrio is gonna get active very early, and instead of the Habana as well. So there are a bit of switch ups here, right? We're seeing some different operators. Instead of bringing the Habana out, gonna opt for the Ace and Maverick combo. Which, you know, Maverick, great for that silent entry, especially into the dirt area, especially for taking care of patches that could be cated. Not going to be the case here, though. You have a pretty good defensive lineup, and already taking some shots in. That's going to be right to take Scrim off the board. That's going to be the body bounce tipped in favor of Retirement Home, and that's a huge pick, Dianic, because we got the Azami off the board. No more Kiba barriers.
No more Kibas, our little architect of the game is gone for this round. So you're gonna have to, every verticality has to stay opened, as we do find out the equalizer pick. Riot, he doesn't quite like that. He's gonna shut down the bug, so no more verticality is going to be brought in this game. We do still have a ram, But is that ram really gonna stay alive for too long, as the impacts can destroy the little buggies? So it's going to be a little tough, as the Romans are still upstairs, as we saw, so they're still creating a little bit of pressure to the attacking team. So we have the middle floor under our control. We can start verticality. We can also start now breaching those hatches, because if we're being honest, guys, the hatches need to be open soon. There's impacts that can work against that. There's some C4s that can work against that. It's going to be a little bit tough, as we look to the right side. We have a Maverick, potentially for the motor hatch, but can be punished by a C4. Or just simply by a gun.
Yeah. And we do have, of course, the ace on the board, though. Easily impact tricked, as it does take 2 of those summon charges. And Body Balance now sitting heavily in favor of Retirement Home, as they find themselves up at 4v2. Now, this is still winnable for the defense. Got to find 1 or 2 to start to equalize this number. But it's a real fish in a barrel situation here, because, as you said it, hatch is getting opened up. The Ram has got that floor opened up, so that makes the hallway unusable. And, of course, B-site. A devastating place to push. Now it's pushing to generate that, try to take the pipe onto that secret area. He's got the clues. It's going to be the flash that comes down, the double drop potentially, and he's got the intel that it is coming. So there's the shots that are going to ring out. It's going to be, oh my lord, Legion getting active and does get ripped off the board. Now all off the shoulders of Valkyrie, who's going to be dealt with very swiftly towards the end here.
That is the first round done, over and set, but favoring rather a team, or maybe a lot of us wouldn't have expected, the attacking team yet again. As said, one of the teams did get penalized. Well, is that the correct word?
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. Jesus. my little brain is not working right now.
Brains are overrated.
Doesn't want to work with me.
Need to locate and defuse this.
So it's favoring the attack. The first round we have seen, so 2 rounds onto their behalf. With the attacking side now securing themselves the basement floor. They're forcing French power hits go down to the basement spot yet again. They could have went to a different side, they could have played something else, but decided to go downstairs. As we see also, there's not much variation or not too much adaptation coming through from the operator lineup. As we know, the first person who died was the Azami. Moving forward, maybe putting the Azami in a little bit of a less aggressive spot, as at the end of the day you want to have Azami for the later games to create Kiba bursts, because her gadget reloads over time.
Yeah, that the Azami, especially in this church arsenal, hold absolutely huge, right? Get a Kiba barrier up that's gonna stop the glance down from the kitchen hatch, and then set yourself up inside of that B area. Which, I mean, is what we see a lot. It's how you watch B, dirt, generator, and instead it's going to be doing a little bit of shenanigans with the mirror inside of the blue. And it's a little bit of a switch up on where those mirrors are actually settled at, because it looks like we have a more direct line of sight into sight. So maybe watching for that moto hatch this time instead of allowing all of that verticality. Now it is going to be Ash getting inside and a lot of real estate very quickly, as they're trying to suss out where the heck those Valk cams are actually sitting at. Yeah, you know you're being pinged out. Can't quite find it while he's looking for it.
Yeah. It's caught in front of her eyes, but it's a little bit tough to see it though, as she's gonna be pinged and the information is still there. As we just saw, the Valkyrie camera in stock stays alive for a few more seconds, but Riot is claiming a bit of a good spot there, trying to do a few shots, not quite enough for a kill yet. As we can see, this time we've established control a little bit quicker, but yet again we also saw French power retreating back a little bit more, not quite playing too aggressive on the top floor, but rather having more manpower onto the sides. And this time a very key operators on side as well, which is the Azami. Now we can see her walking on side, and as I said, Hekiba barriers load with time, can be used, so she needs to stay alive for most of the round, or just till the end of the round, to even maybe close up these verticalities, which are going to be brought as soon as they start now by Buck, by Ram, so we can close them up maybe to maybe gain a little bit more control on sides. This is looking tough here.
Yeah, so they do burn out the Wamai discs and are able to crack that mirror. Valkyrie unaware that anything is going on exactly, except for the hatch intel that she is covering on. Maybe looking for that potential C4, but with 52 seconds left, we find ourselves with the attack team with all to do. Retirement Home got a big task ahead of them, really playing into that 20-second meta strategy. And here's what we're seeing, folks. They're all getting themselves in place, really grabbing that intel, and then it's going to be the 3-2-1 collapse. The first shot's going to happen as Mira takes out the Ram pushing down. It is going to be traded out. As you see, the zombie gets taken off the board as well. Now, this into a 4v4 situation. 26 seconds left. Why the next to fall as he finds a couple of bullets. Putting us into a 4v3. Now, it is going to be the Legion holding on. It gets equalized. It's that Vector yet again ringing out and bringing death. They do open up that church wall, so a potential to get in, but it's only a few seconds left. 8 seconds. Pushes into sights. Got to find the kill. Takes it on to Mira. Now into a 3v1, into a 2v1, but 2 seconds, and the plant's starting to go down. Oh my lord, at the last few seconds, they're going to get it, and attackers are going to find themselves another W.
This is putting French Bar in a really tough position as Retirement Home moves up 3-0. So this is going to be really tough as you can easily 3-2-1, as you said, just all walking on side, every kill happening on every side. And there at the end, unfortunately, a little bit too much exposed there. And the C4 could have been the clutch, could have been the moment to take out the defender, the planter with it, exposing ourselves there a bit too much. Nonetheless, now we go into round number 4, plus round number 3, and we do see now a new side. Jesus, Jim! My god, I can't speak English today, really.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite sites to see, Dianic, because of all the different ways that you can play it, right? A little bit of a standard setup here. They do bring the Azami instead of the castle, but still going to be bringing up those layers of defense to this hole.
Exactly, I think you said it. Pretty much, just the layers is the things that they can be bringing to this side. As we are now finally on the top floor, we've moved a different side, so this could be potentially the first win for French Power. This could be the first round to the side of French Power here. But also depends how they play it, right? We saw Mira being rolled, we saw the setup being pretty much facing CCTV and Hash. Depending how they attack it, this could go both ways.
Yep, that's true. A little bit of a two-pronged approach. We're already going to see the first death as Rise is going to get taken off the board, and that's the Wamayagon, and that's a huge pick, right? Because just like those Kiva Bears, they got to regenerate to be able to use. So now, Azami all alone here, holding down the cache areas, trying to stall out as much time as she absolutely can. Does get spotted out on the drone, so it's going to be the walk back into the site. Mira holds and waits for that second bit of engagement. Body bounce tipped in favor of the Retirement Home here. You see Legion taking a little bit of damage, able to WASD his way out of there into some relative safety. It is going to be the Legion to fall, however, as he does get caught out by the L85. Now taking us into a 5v3 with plenty of time still left on the clock.
As I said, plenty of time left on the clock. Half of the round is soon now done, and the 3v5 is not looking too good to the side of French Power because they are on the defensive side. At the end of the day, it is defender-sided meta. As you said, it can go still both ways because of the map, because the map is pretty much equalized when it comes to either defensive or attack and winning. The attacker just going to extend the lead even further with another kill, and now in a 2v5, Whiskey is not looking too good to French Power. It's looking like a long way they have to go here in order to secure this round.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that last kill, it's all with Mira. All to do here takes a bunch of damage and ultimately going to be closed down in a flawless round. Man, what in the heck is happening that the attack side in this defensive meta is coming up so clean?
Maybe it isn't a defensive side of meta. Maybe we have been just trolled, like always. Maybe we have been trolled and it's actually a very attacker-sided meta right now. Could be.
Yeah, it could
be. Also be that French Power just haven't found a groove yet into the game. Maybe we're gonna see a little bit of a comeback in the attacking side. Maybe they're gonna have, gonna keep up the scoreline. But at this point, they would need to come back a little bit. They would need to get at least the next 2 rounds, make this a 2-4 to still have a little bit of a power coming onto the attack, because as soon as you give the attacking team more rounds, I think at a 1-5 or 0-6, it's pretty much one-sided. We could be saying here Retirement Home is taking this round, but if the next 2 rounds, especially this one, another time where they go to the basement spot, which has historical looking, always been defender-sided more. It's always favored the defenders more
5 seconds
than the
left before
attackers.
insertion.
So we would need here the next 2 rounds to go to the side of French Power if they really want to have a realistic comeback.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And what do they bring to do it as we head back down to Church and Arsenal for our next bit of sight. Man, 4 rounds in a row, and we haven't seen a little bit of another site, right? Gym bedroom one time, but basement being the rest. So what do? We bring out a bunch of that slowed down city. Run out gonna find 2 before he gets traded out. Huge capitalization here by the defense, and that's exactly what we needed to see if they wanted a hope at coming back. So now, body balance for the first time remaining in the hands of French Power, as all they got to do is rely on that trade out game now and find themselves another round win, or a first round win.
Could be, but it ain't over, right? It ain't over until the next few kills happen, unless it's a clean 4 or unless the next 3 kills go to the side of French Power. But Retirement Home has looked pretty good, and I could still see them come back if French Power doesn't play this correctly. If they pick in a lot of 1v1s, Retirement Home could still bring this back a little bit. And it's just gunfights, right? It's just a one-shot headshot game. 1 shot against the head, and you're out of this round. We still have a C4, which we could use for the verticality, potentially apply a little bit of pressure, because Bug is there making the verticality in kitchen. We didn't quite use there the opportunity, as we might want to save the C4 for a plan scenario.
Yeah. Okay, so minute and 20 left on the board. Maverick making not quick work of those hatches, but definitely getting them open. Hoping to kind of catch one off. He takes a pre-fire through. Not going to be the case. Both hatches done, so the flash is going to ring out. Chase that Mira, dislodge her from that location as they try to find one pick that can equalize here, and that's going to be the one to do it. Now put ourselves into a 3-3 with 60 seconds left on the board. It's going to be Buck to take a quick look inside and get a little bit of intel as we now see a bit of redirect here out of the attack team. Ooh, what a shot! Now body balance tipped in favor of French Power yet again as they find themselves up in a 3v2. Diana gets 43 seconds left, and they're going to find their first round.
I gotta be honest there. As soon as I saw it coming back to a 3v3, I was a little bit shaking there. I had a little bit my doubts that this could still go to the side of Retirement. But as Zay came in and had that amazing pixel kill there, what a shot, and then immediately reaggressing to that. I think there the round was kind of set because he shot down one of aggression. There's another one coming in from the same side. At that point, all you gotta do is hold that door. All you gotta do is make sure it doesn't run through. And that's what he's done there so beautifully. And this is what I mean. If you have the Azami late in the game up, it can create angles, it can create ways, as we saw the Kiva barriers being used to create cover, to create so many things for the defensive side. It was just very well played from their behalf, as French Power now secured themselves their first round, and they just need one more to make the support 2, and then the attack might not even look that bad, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing, right? We call it the standard split 4-2. Now, generally, it goes in the other direction. So if you're a well put together team with a good attack strat, yeah, you're feeling real good about getting the first one on the board, potentially going into your defensive half after this one. So, head back up to Gym Bedroom, and we are not going to see the cache CCTV for the first half of this game at all. And no, of course, no bar shenanigans. Don't yet generally get to see him anyways. And so who do we bring? We set back up those layers. Azami going to be here to really that trench warfare mentality that is so important, and Mira to hold on to the bathroom and logistical area. And here's the fun part. Here's the one of the highlights here. Is Malusi back? Because we have been seeing her everywhere. Wow, what a huge Kiva.
That Kiva was kind of sick. I think that denies a long angle from the hedge all the way into gold, and maybe even the logic door. We need to see how that extends, but we can see the pressure is already on the rafter stairs and also on the CC breach. We do have a small adaptation when it comes to the operator lineup. We have a warden in play, which we didn't have last time. So we can see French Power trying here their best to adapt a little bit. Also the first kill falls, and this is Tryman Home taking the opening pick, potentially a second one here as the Azami also got injured. But our little architect is gonna stay in the game. I think maybe I thought a little bit too early there.
Azami does get taken down, and now we find ourselves man advantage to Retirement Home as they're using that two-pronged approach here. Ooh, what a shot! Equalized yet again, absolutely deleted by the Wamai inside of construction. Now takes us into a 3-3, but he paid a heavy price for it as he's now into just over quarter HP left, and now we do have the head holes lined up or opened up. We do have the breaches going, so tons of outside control looking in, but still got a lot to do with 75 seconds still left on the board.
As you said, there's still left a lot of time left on the board here, but it is a 3v3. We saw also in the last round that they can definitely bring this back. They were in a man at disadvantage last round, but they had the good crossfires. They knew where the aggression is coming from. Same as here. There might be more spots, more angles they need to hold, but at the end, but it's kind of the same thing like the round before. If you know where the aggression is coming from, if you know how to double down, where to double down exactly, then you immediately shut down their push. As their push right now is pretty one-sided. It's just coming from construction side and maybe from the highways window later. There's going to be a little bit of pressure coming through, but that's it pretty much. No one from the back, so there's pretty much one angle you need to hold.
So here we go. It is Mira in Logi. It's 25 seconds left. Defense really starting to feel good about closing this one out. And with that, finds another onto Zen. Thermite goes down, and Ace now down to a low HP scenario. They're going to be able to pick him back up, potentially, if they don't get around. 2v2 now, but it's a low health scenario. Wamai off the board. Malusi, the last one alive. 8 seconds, takes Thermite down off the board into a classic 1v1. Gonna have to get the plant down, and Malusi all the way back in logistical. So it is gonna be a post-plant scenario. That is gonna take one bullet, a fraction of a bullet, to take Ace off the board in this post-plant scenario. Gonna have 7 seconds left to get that defused, and they're gonna take the shots on the Malusi. Gonna miss it though from the long distance. Turns his back for the knife. That's gonna be a triple kill and another one in favor of the defense. Standard split gonna be the case here. Sheesh.
Well, it's kind of a standard split with a Uno reverse card on top, right? Because the standard split is 4-2 favoring the defense, but the 4-2 right now is favoring the attack, which is yet again a little bit unusual. But we saw also the man advantage favoring the attack quite a bit. 3v5, bring it down to a 3v3. Beautiful angles coming in there, and this is why I meant they have the ability to come back here pretty strong. And at the end, it was the 1v1. Both of these two players were low HP. Just wasn't enough. And that angle, that shot was quite nasty. I'm gonna have to say that was beautifully done there. But it was just the 1v1 at the end, which was tough to help because we could have fallen back and played the time, right? Which is... maybe it was a little bit of also the panic, because the player knows where you are. If you turn their back too much, they're gonna shoot you in the back. So there's a lot of tough decisions going on there. But 4 rounds for the attack is pretty good. It's nothing to say that it was bad. Their attack was quite beautifully. Now they're going into the defensive side. We talk about, and I talked already about how it is defender-sided meta. So we could see Retired Home run away with a lead here and just get this first map done and over. But it could also be that in this matchup, we have the attack as being strong, and French Power could have here a comeback, but we're starting on the basement floor where it usually, like before, and as I said, it goes and it favors the defensive.
Yeah, and kind of an interesting lineup to bring to the table. A couple of standards, right? We've got the K to block that verticality and make whoever's trying to open up the Habana specifically pay for the transaction. But one of the fun ops, one of the newer operators on the board, Tuberout, gonna help, and not to mention 8-3 Larry sits currently. 8-3, so having an absolutely fantastic game. What is the point of the Goyle on top of the hatch? I don't know, Diana, that I've ever seen that before.
That's a tough question, but I think it's just mainly if you have a Maverick, if you have an Ace, if you have a Hibana, it just shuts down the area around the hatch for like, I believe the Goyles are still around 20 seconds. So it just takes time away until you can actually approach it. Yes, you can destroy it from far away, but it just takes time away, like 20 seconds. You're gonna have to wait until you can actually peek that hatch. As Riot is gonna find himself a piece. He's gonna take out the Hibana, a key player here from French Paw, a quite crucial pick as well, is now we have one more hard breach, which is from the Grim, from the B-Man. We could use it on Mozart, but then the time... And you couldn't peek the hatch for the next 20 seconds. As Hibana is gone, so is Grim.
Oh, you Caster cursed him right off the board, and that's man
Jesus, man, I
advantage
should
in a
stop doing it,
heavy way. Now heads over to retirement home. B-man, be gone. Now it is going to be the C4, but it is going to miss. Unfortunate as he tries to find that from down below. Still do have a couple of can openers on the board, right? Bitty Buck bringing out some of those hard breaches. To potentially still get those hatches open, but find themselves really on the back foot now with 70 seconds still left on the board. No vertical play to be had, at least that you can drop down. So there was that Goyo charge that we were talking about earlier. Finally got finished that up, and they're not going to be able to get the hatches with the Kate on the board unless the Thatcher gets himself in place. Buck not even going to worry about it. Going to take a peek down secret. L85 to claim. Ooh. Oh my lord. And just like that, Dianic, we're equalized back up. Sheesh, Brain going down now, 43 seconds left. Ram's gonna stick this thing. No, she's not. Deleted. Gonzo. It's all gonna be left on Ronin, who does find one with that L85, but it's gonna be traded back immediately with that sniper shot.
That was quite beautiful. I was shaken a little bit here for the defensive. Because the hard breacher is gone, the secondary hard breaches are gone, and now we are in a 3v3. Plant is going down. What is happening? The execute was so beautifully well done, but at the end, it just wasn't quite enough. As you were in a 1v2 scenario with low HP, you do finish off one. Oh, in a 1v3, bring it down to a 1v2 and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. But I was shaking a little bit for the defensive there. At the end of the day, they got it. They got the last round, so they beautifully defended that because they had the opening picks, right? They had the hard breacher Hibana gone. They had the secondary hard breach gadgets from Grim because he died. Also, I can't curse him. I do apologize, their friend Star. Gone, so normal hard breaches. We're gonna have to funnel through these doors. We're gonna have to funnel through everything that is already existing within the map. So, invitations, open hatches. We saw the kitchen hatch not even being reinforced. Could have been also an observer bug. Could have been both at that point.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, because sometimes there's just a little bit of bug with the but nonetheless, we move from that. We go now in round number 8. 2-5, a pretty big lead from retirement home. And it's just like a cheeky little spawn peek.
Let's try for one.
Try it.
Yeah. So, gonna go up to that gym bedroom site. Still no hint of a cache CCTV area. And gonna double up on the intel. Siege, it's important, right? Intel and opportunity, and you gotta have the intel. So both the Mozzie and the Valkyrie on the board with C4s in hand. 3 of them to be exact. We are gonna carry one as well. I'm really going to try to do some of that long distance and make the enemy team keep thinking about where it is that they have to push into. So what you're seeing right now is this first minute being handled where the drones are getting in and sussing out where every single one of these defensive players are at, right? Really take your time and get that info. There's going to be the first exchange. Is Mozzie going to take a ton of damage and ultimately going to lose his life to the B-man as the bailiff says good night, and that's going to be body bounce tipped in favor of French power.
Not only do they have the kill, but also the space gathered as Grim finds himself onto Logi. It's gonna be shut down quite early here, and it's looking like another kill could happen.
Ooh. Start to ring out his bust. Takes up the board, and that's going to be the ward in the next balls. Rises, takes him down, but it gets equalized. Is Thermite going to find one? Thermite going to find 2. Twinkie Winky Jinky going to get himself taken down now into a 2v2. Still got a whole minute and 30 left on the board, and that's going to be Twitch taken down and found out. Now into a 2v1 scenario. It is going to be Rises with all to do here at the very last potential for a match point round coming up next. Got themselves a little bit of a climb in this 1v2.
As you said, it's not quite a good spot to be in, especially as French players in a 1v2 scenario. You are in a disadvantage. You have to fight 2 people. Everyone is full HP, so you're gonna have to hit that headshot twice in a row if you want to make this round. Normal C4, so nothing to deny actually a plan, but the strongest player in the entire round is still alive, which is Larry here with 11-4. It's not gonna be him taking the kill, but Zen is gonna up his KD a little bit as he finds the last kill in this round, and that means Retired Home moves up to match point in a 6-2. Is this makeable? Can French Bar, in your opinion, Whiskey Glitter, what do you think? Can they make it back, or is Retirement Home gonna walk away with a clean win?
Well, it's a tough hill to climb, but I think with communication being key, if we see a little bit more of the buddy system coming out of French Power, not taking these fights one-on-one, but really dedicating some resources to isolating some of these defenders that are out and about, get that body count into their favor. We know, we've seen them, once they get the initial pick, then they start to have that chance. Then they start to rely on that trade system and bring themselves back into this game. Can they be perfect for 4 in a row? I don't know, to be honest with you. It's Retirement Home's been looking pretty good. If we can isolate some players, start winning some of these ones, then yeah, I think we might have a game on our hands.
I think you pointed out there pretty well what we need, or what French Bar here needs to do in order to have a little bit of a comeback. At the end of the day, it's not too much, but they're also in the attack, which is just quite working against them. They could have gone... Oh... They could have gone a long way on the defense, but they're gonna go along with the Montagne, as they did decide to bring the Monty, which we have talked about earlier at the beginning, even the match. We were just looked at the map bands and you pointed out Montagne could be a quite crucial pick here. And maybe Montagne is the recipe to success here.
Potentially, right? It's the walking drone. It's all of that information. It's the push-up catwalk. As we're seeing Cash CCTV for the first time this evening, it is a pretty standard lineup here out of the defense. Can go for that two-pronged approach, but also brings those can openers to the board. So you're going to see a little bit of a focus on getting some of those backside entries lit up just in case the initial front push doesn't work. Here's what I love, though. We have got a bit of an adaptation here on the defensive side. Not the usual players that we're seeing for Cash CCTV, specifically being the castle, right? And the extension, I think, potentially downstairs. I didn't see exactly where he put those barricades at, but what we do love to see is the downstairs extension where they can get a lot of pressure on the players like Buck trying to open up and use that verticality or defend the hatch. They did get it open, however. So we're going to see Thermite redirecting himself and going to go for that construction wall open up the single in the site. A bit of a redirect. They're going to find the first death as he gets ripped down off the board, and that's going to give French Power that win conditions that we talked about, right? So now they've got the body balance in their hands. Now that they've isolated that lone player, they can work a little bit on starting to isolate these other players and get themselves up in the man advantage. It's now 5v3 with a full minute and 13 left.
It's looking pretty good to the side of French Powder. They could potentially have a little bit of a comeback, but Riot is here in a crucial position as his shield is now gone. He is being pressured all left, right, and center. He does find one, but can he find more as he's being pushed by Monty? Yes, he can. He just swings in. There's picking up 2 kills, bringing it down to a 2v2, reclaiming actually this spot and the ground in construction as Monty finds himself solo on site, and Zay is gonna fall yet again to Riot. As a triple for him in a 2v3. This might be over and done as we are in a 1v2.
Yep, you're right, Dianic. 30 seconds left on the board, and this is that exact scenario we were talking about. Monty in a 1vx. You got to get through 2 people to do it, so it's the pistol out to try to find some body drops. Maybe get a little bit closer. Maybe we see some of that shield bash, but it's going to be a tough climb. 15 seconds pushing in. It's going to be looking for that swing from the other side. Takes a bunch of shots, but it's just not going to do it. The defense is going to win it, and that is going to do it for us on game number 1.
That is our game.
Huh. So I guess the social prediction, or the social prediction, a bit spot on there.
Maybe our production staff just, had a little bit more foreseeing there, a little bit more faith there, especially in the last round. We saw a 5v3 collapse all the way down to a 3v3. It was a good strat, taking out the shield, going in, but Riot just absolutely taking out these players one by one. First the swing on the Thermite, then the second on the Buck where the Monty was in the corner, and after that later, he didn't quite catch on the stream, he did took out Zay as soon as he wanted to jump into Master Bedroom. That is a triple kill for him because they simply couldn't shut down one player, and that was the round or the end round for French Power as they're moving to the next standing for themselves. And Rotam and Hunt secured themselves a win today. A pretty clean one. The 7-2 is very, very one-sided.
Yeah, that's a dominant performance. They said, we're going to show you how to play TED Talk, or we're going to show you how to play Clubhouse. Welcome to my TED Talk. And they did it exceptionally well on the defense and the attack side of it. And so, yeah, does go in their favor. It was a great game. It was super quick, but we got another one coming up for you. So, folks, sit back, relax, fill your drink to the tippy top, because when we come back, we're giving you a second match. Ayo. What's up and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. If you liked map 1, wait till you see map 2. Match 2, excuse me. I am still the Reverend Whiskey Glitter, and with me, as always, the incomparable Dianic. What you think, Dianic?
Honestly, I think you said it pretty well. It is match 2, but it's also map number 2. It's on a different match, right? So you can take it both ways. But the first match was a little bit of a run over from one of the two teams. A little bit more dominant than one of the sides. I'm hoping to see a closer match right now, but I would say that we have a quick look at what is the predictions? What is the predictions from our staff?
Hey, yo. Oh, there we go. Okay, LDL versus Minions, and it looks like... Oh yeah, you said it. It's a almost a 50-50 outside of one, I believe, going into the favor. Oh, is it 50-50?
It is kind of favoring the Minions, but it's because the votes are not equal, but it's favoring with one vote, it's favoring the Minions. Which is, like the match before, it is kind of a 50-50, it's just one vote more to the side of the Minions. And nothing too much to say here. I think the production made it pretty clear which team they think is going to win. But what about the community? Let's see
what do you guys think?
Ooh.
It is a little bit closer here, Dianic. This is the potential. You know, my favorite maps are the ones that go to the double overtime 1v1 showdown. Right? It's just what I love. This, based on both of the predictions, I mean, these are both teams we know and love, right? Based on both of the predictions, this might have the chance to do it.
This could be. It seems pretty close, pretty set up. But there's one more thing we have to go over. Would you like do us the honor here, Whiskey Glitter? What is the map ban? What are the maps?
Let's run through it. Let's go. Okay, so you see that the new map's taking out both one early, one late. The classic's gone, not to be heard of, so it's going to take us to the large map known as Bank. And you know what? This is outside of Nighthaven. This is one of my favorite maps for the exact reason of the same as Clubhouse. There's so many different ways that you have to bring your strats to the table for this. Are you going to be focusing on that first floor play? Are you going to be dominant in your primary and secondaries up top and down below? The basement has become one of the most contested sites in all of Rainbow Six Siege because it is really 50-50 and it could be brought down to which last operator was picked. I love Bank, Diana.
Hey, you pointed out the basement spot. I think it comes to the same thing like Clubhouse has seen before. Even though it is pretty much 50-50, it still favors the defense a little bit more, just for the matter of fact, because it's basement. There's not much verticality you can do in it. Yes, you can play the hatches, but other than that, that's it. No verticality. And you can open up the hatches. There's one broader default take for it, but there's also a lot more, and this is why I also like Bank. It has more different attacks. There's small variations of attack presented to you, which you can choose to do. You can go for the default. For example, if we take the basement spot as an example again, we can go basement, we can go server, we can plant in server. So pretty much default. You can go for a lobby drop on top of that if you want. You can do a full lobby execute with hatch drops. You can do a garage execute. You can do a main stairs execute, an elevator drop. So many things you can add on top of that, or so many things you can work around with, because and this is why I love this map. Also, for me, is the variation of the attacks that can be presented, but also the variation of the defensive side. We can roam, we can have a third for defensive, we can have top, bottom, down, top, middle, lower, or just bunker it all down. Because no verticality, you can just stay on side. You can also go for a roam. You can go for a castle strat. So many things you can do. And honestly, I cannot wait. I want to see what they're doing. I want to see what they're presenting to us. It's not only the basement spot that has a lot of variety, but also the middle floor, also the top floor. On the middle floor, you can play both sides. It's even though open area is a little bit more favored. I still think that Archives and Tellers has the opportunity, like, is still a good side, right? Because you need to hold the top floor like you would hold it when you play the top floor. So other than that, it's not much different. You just have an extended side on the base, on one of the bottom. It's kind of playing cafe, bar, and cocktail, but you just do it on bank. It's the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So some of those same operators probably going to be put to use here, right? Hopefully, if not banned out, we see the use of the Mira, right? There's a couple of new Mira strats that we're seeing developed in basement that have been absolutely devastating. A little bit farther back, a little bit longer to hold on, watching those hatch drops. But I think one of the big things that have been seen a lot, at least here in the NA where I'm at, is the rise of the castle, right? And those extensions both upstairs and downstairs, depending on what sides that you're playing. So I'm looking, I mean, it's going to all come down to that, right? We're going to see what kind of pace that they're going to be setting, what is going to be the tone of the match when we get into those map bans and seeing, is it going to just be the favorite ops, or is it going to be a little bit more of that catch you off guard?
Exactly. Is it going to be operators? You pointed out Mira, which I have seen of a lot of different regions being more broad on the bank, especially with the new threats coming in. As you said, in the basement spot, play a little bit further back, have the C4, have the smoke, have the Goyos. I've seen tons of Goyos being played, especially on the basement spot. You have one Goyo charge on the door, you have one Goyo charge on the table, you have one Goyo charge on the plant spot, which you use a C4, you have one Goyo, you have like 4 Goyo charts in server, and it's just unable, unless you bring a Twitch. We've seen, or I have seen quite a lot of Twitch being brought on the attack to deal with those Goyo canisters, but you've also seen Goyo being taken out, banned, like Mira. So I think we gonna have a little bit of variety when it comes to the operator bans. I'm hoping to see maybe bans which are responding to the meta right now, like a Mira, like a Goyo, like a Castle, maybe even, like you said. And on the attack, I would like to see also operators, which are still a pain to deal with. A Ying, take her out. It just takes away so much chaos. You can't still bring the Warden full because a lot of teams decide to bring 3 sets of flashbangs. So bring the Warden, it's fine. You don't have to ban them because they're more powerful operators on this map. For the attacking side, like I said, Ying, you can ban a Docker because you're gonna be roaming, right? You can ban a Florist because there's gonna be a lot of utility. Maybe even a Twitch that maybe gives you the advantage to play a Mira. If she's not banned, it gives you the advantage to put the Goy canisters down if they're not banned.
And so it all comes down to this, the last match of the evening, and it is happening on Bank, and it is going to be an absolute banger. Apparently, neither of these teams really play Bank that often, so this could be something that really falls into the 20-second meta gameplay that we watch so much. So the last few seconds of the games being absolutely explosive, and I can't freaking wait for it.
As you said, it could fall down to the last 20 seconds, but it could also be that we're going to see quite early executes. Because if you execute in the last 20 seconds, if you're waiting for these last few things to go in, to take this place, to take everything, it just takes a lot of time, right? You know, as a defender, okay, I see 20 mark. At this point, they're going to have to be pushing. They're going to have to push in. When are they doing? Where are they coming from? And they just pop a smoke canister. Pop a Goyo charge and everything. Pop the C4. You know they're gonna be coming, right? As the attackers, you have the advantage to execute earlier. Maybe throw off a little bit the attacking team. Maybe be a little bit inconsistent. Why? Because of these two teams that played or avoided Bank rather in the past. I think they have to actually get to know each other on this map a little bit. They've avoided both Bank, haven't played it too much. I think the first 2 rounds, I kind of get to know each other. How are we gonna play this from the attack? Are we gonna be inconsistent? Are we gonna be fast, a little bit slow? Are we gonna set the pace? Or is the defensive side gonna set the pace onto us? As we have now the first few bans coming in on the attack, we're not gonna see any Monty, we're not gonna see any Jackal, but that opens up the window for Grim, for a Ying, for a Docker AB, a lot of operators which create chaos within the entire round. On the defensive side, this is what, you know, made me smile now a little bit. We have the
Mhm.
Mira, and we've talked about Mira now a little bit. Is a good ban. She has been gaining quite a lot of power when it comes to the defensive side, and I would love to see another off-pick operator as the last defender. But it's going to be Fenrir, so I think there again, entry denial, been taken away a little bit, so the attackers can have a little bit more entry points, a little bit quicker. As Fenrir is not there, they don't have to worry about that anymore. Yes, there might be still Melusis, there might be still Gumas, but that's all fine. Because the Fenrir takes away vision, and that is a problem to deal with. Now, Monty gone, Jackal gone, a push operator, and an operator to clear things have been gone, that
Attackers
can
need
be
to locate
replaced
and defuse
with the
bombs.
Docker AB. As we can see, Hog already bring the Docker AB on the board. We have the camera set. We have the verticality. And from the defensive side, we surprisingly don't have too many of these operators we've talked about, right? We have the intel gathering operators like a Solis, like a Fenrir. Solis can be used like a pulse in server, by the way. But then give the information to their players if they need to pop a C4. So we have two C4s, we have the Maestro also for intel. Can be crucial, but also can be taken out or deactivated by the Thatcher. So I think this first round is gonna be a little bit favoring the 20 seconds meta.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It's intel galore on both sides of the board, Dianic. On the attack, we're bringing out the Zero and the Dokaibi. So really going to spend some time trying to suss out this roam game, because this is where we're going to see it. Right tank is huge, and especially with operators like Solus on the board. You can see right now, already on that 2F extended all the way up. Now, they did open up the hatches, so they're going to be able to get that drop back down. So what we're going to see is the 2F down into 1F, down into the bunker. It's going to be immediately Dokkaebi is getting active, takes a couple of shots. Amaru to come in and help back her up as they're putting the pressure on. But Sol's going to find the huge pick of Hibana off the board early. Man advantage going over to the defense league. Oh man, that is a huge pick. Still trying to suss out where the heck the Solus is roaming at. There she is.
There she is. She's been found, but you had to give up 2 kills for it. You have to give up the Doka and the Hibana, so it's not quite good of a trade. Not even a single kill has happened into their favor of the minions so far. I think we're just gonna extend our lead further.
Sheesh, and this is all, folks, happening within the first minute of gameplay. It is now going to be mad on a triple kill. It's going to be secure with all to do here. Takes a couple of shots in. Doesn't actually shoot C4, goes off, but going to stay relatively safe until flawless round happens. SMG-11 to claim that. And that was a huge round for the defense. They just really showed up.
This is what I meant. You can have... Ooh, interesting. Already a timeout within the first round. I think the minions, they weren't quite happy with their performance there in the first round. It was just kind of the Melusi and the Valkyrie taking out every operator one by one. We had a 3-piece, we had a 2-piece for each of these 2 players. We had the information coming through from the teammates. We saw them moving up, trying to help each other out a little bit there, trying to be together, trying to play off refrags if possible. Minions, they couldn't secure a single kill even though they had the operators, right? Thinking about it, they had the time to take the space. They had the Amaru being quite quickly on site. Also, which was kind of a bit surprising because the Dokkaebi was quicker in the building than the Amaru, which is normally the other way around. But Doka gone, Hibana gone. What do? You're gonna have to go for the frags. The frags don't work. Well, maybe it was a good time to take out the tactical. Could have been used maybe later when they are in a little bit more of a struggle, because losing the first round doesn't even really matter as much because it was a basement spot, right? As said at the beginning, it favors defense. As much as you want to turn around, as much as you want to say, yeah, it doesn't, and everything, it favors the defense. It is defender-sided matter. We would have seen probably a very, very much defensive winning that. The hatches were open, could have fallen back, could have had an advantage, but it just doesn't really work out there for the attack. Moving to the second spot, to the top floor, and we have the castle. I think you were right on that. Maybe you have a good news for that.
Hey, you know what? Castle's huge, right? One of the things that we see on the 2F location for Bank is that there is rappel kills everywhere, right? Look at that E3 wall that gets taken out. The rappels onto the main site, the rappels onto top square. Even with a more brazen, with a more bold player, even the skylight rappel kills that we've seen recently. So Castle going to do a great job at really shutting down and funneling where the heck these attackers can defend or can get into, right? Creating your own little kill boxes. Now look at this, a little active here inside of the E-boxes. Solus maybe trying to catch somebody off guard a little bit early. Either way, it's a ballsy play right out the gate. We're going to see, of course, the OSA moving in and taking some of that top square control. Got to be wary, of course, of that exactly. The impacts from below does miss the Talon shield, so that thing is going to remain in place, still has both of them, and now holding the angle for that eventual push up.
So far, from the minions, we have established not too much control, but it is also the top floor. You don't necessarily need as much control. You need the breaches to be open, which we can see here. Anu now being dealt and done. But also you gotta play the windows, and the windows are a little bit crucial. As soon as like a jump out comes out or the swing from lobby, is that covered? Do we have information of that? Because that can be quite crucial, can take out quite a lot of these attackers. As we do know, the default take for the side is a window play into repellent, into plant on side. We don't see as too many square takes anymore. We don't see too many teams pushing and pressuring that side of square. Especially Jenny. We've seen a lot of teams, especially in the other leagues, just trying to work around Jenny rather than against Jenny. Sneed's gonna find himself being taken out now, and that is advantage to the defensive side now.
Yeah, I mean, they did his work already, right? He got that main wall open, so if it is a body down, but it's not necessarily a... Oh, disadvantage. That, however, was a silly swing, and Mad going to find themselves another kill into Superior, and that second Talon shield going to stay. This get traded out, as we're going to see the dome piece ring out, and just like that, it's episodic drop, and the balance is now equalized as we find ourselves in a 3-3. Shots ringing out through Janitors, the Legion Goo goes off, and now it is the big push. Do they know? Yeah, they know. They've got a Pixel right before the swing, but the Legion Goo gonna do its job, and that's gonna be another kill for Solus onto the board. Now take this into a 3v3, a 2v2 as the trades answer back. Bullets flying into sight, and it is gonna be the Solus coming up on the flank, on the back end, trying to catch somebody sleeping. The run, the pre... Oh, no pre-fire. Dead's gonna take the shot down, and that's gonna be a defensive win.
This is them gone. This is another win for the defensive. So I think now the mentality becomes a big part of minions, right? Losing the first round, quite crucial, quite big. Now in the second round, not having the man advantage, not quite winning these one-on-ones, not having anyone there to potentially trade somebody off, especially here. There could have been somebody swinging in, could have been somebody peeking from stock as he moved and left his position there, but the man advantage just didn't quite keep up. After that, it was just trades coming through one by one, and the 1-1s favoring more the defensive side. So now they are 2 up, but yet again, it's not too much. It's fine. You can lose the first few rounds. It's the attack. What do you need? Theoretically speaking, you need 2 rounds in your pocket. It doesn't really matter that they have lost here the first 2 rounds. Also now, they've got information how these enemies are playing this map, and as I said at the beginning, in the first 2 rounds you kind of get to know each other, so we might see a little bit of a difference from minions now coming through. They might change up a few things, they might already start winning a few rounds, as we are now in open area and kitchen, which there is a good old Monty push. There is also the verticality, they can play a little bit in stock, which even from the operator lineup, I think that's going to be their go-to.
Yeah, I think you're right. Buck and Ram on the board, so we're going to see some of that fish in a barrel open up everything type scenario. And highlight pick here being Castle back on the board, so allow them to extend into this archives area down below and potentially to be holding up top as well. So we see IQ starting to push themselves in to the main lobby. Already took that main camera out. Of course, her gadget able to see all of the electronics to try to establish some of this first floor control so they can take the 2F. So we see that with that, we also have the Twitch on the board, and that's an interesting pick. There's not a ton of gadgets that we're going to be really looking for. What it does do, however, is it's going to take out some of those Valkyrie camps that IQ is pointing out. Some of them more hard to reach ones that have to put yourself into a difficult position. That is going to be the Solus taken off the board. So 4-1 Solus not going to be a factor here in round number 3, as they're really going to start opening up everything. You can hear that buck getting active.
Exactly, it's just verticality now coming through. We have the ram, we have the bug, so everything should be open, everything should be under their control. We do see now Lunar taking a little bit damage here. He tries to keep down archives into their favor. So Talos, but she's gonna be tough with this buck up above. We might see the next few kills coming through as he does secure one now onto this pocket, but he's gonna be hunted down. As taken, Talos and archives is quite a crucial point in attacking this side. You want to have square side, which they already have from the attacking side. Minions have that under control, but they also need Talos and archives to just create even more angles and even more pushes. As another kill falls, favoring minions. So this is looking quite spicy. I think this could be the first round onto their behalf, but it is the last 50 seconds soon.
Yeah, and you said it. 50 seconds left on the board. It is body balance tipped in favor of the minions, but time's starting to run out. Time's starting to tick away. Got to get active, regroup, reset, and get ready for that execute. So we still see this potentially falling in the defensive favor if they can just do their job and stall it out. Valkyrie getting active here, looking towards those rotates. Got a little bit of intel that they're coming in from the backside of pre-fire. Not going to amount to anything, although it got really close, and that's going to be the Wamai to go down now into a 4v2. 20 seconds left, and yeah, you find yourself a bit on the back foot now with the defense. It is going to be Valkyrie to take some hits, although she is the frag leader, 5-1. If anybody can pull this back, this is it. And there's the first kill. Was Castle going to be able to find it? A second, ringing out. A third, ringing out. Unstoppable. Now into a 2v1 for the defensive side as it all falls apart in the last second rings out. No way.
As their victory slips through their hands, minions fall down 3-0. A simple mistake, a simple player, all that it takes is to want to go nuclear. We had the first few kills coming in, all of them kind of favoring the minions, not quite favoring the defensive side, but all it took was Yasme to come in with the first pick, with the second, and at the end with the third to just bring it back down. And that is how simple it was for the Nurse defense to come back here. We see the first kill, a second one on top, quite juicy as well with the swing, immediately predicting that somebody's gonna go there, as nobody was there on the coming from Talos to punish him. And even if there was, as we saw there, he was not aiming at Castle, so maybe there was a little bit of a communication issue there coming through, because we know the position of this player. But the third person should have been the one taking him out, as the information was there where he was. It was an appropriate enough time for that info to go for the enemy, but maybe it was just the shots coming in from the other team, which was a great distraction, by the way, from the defensive side. The caster going nuclear, but his teammate distracting the last enemy walking through small office. That was pretty well done by them.
No kidding, I think you summed it up beautifully. There's going to be the opening pick yet again, but this is a situation that we've seen once before. Body balance does tip in favor of the minions, as they take a huge chunk of intel off the board. Now, what does that do? That allows them to have a little bit more time to set up. And they know they dealt with a little bit of the roam game that generally is on the board, but we're extended fully up top. Hatch is open and ready for that drop down. It's a strat that worked earlier as the first bit of round rotate went through, and that's going to be the Maestro getting active, not able to take it on, take the thermite, and they open it up and get themselves set up for a potential back attack or back drop.
As Hog, he's playing quite an important position there, holding that square down, making sure nobody can rotate in behind them, behind their teammates. So they're playing a quite crucial spot there, but it does seem like defense, they want to take back that space. They want to make sure that they can rotate and have the verticality in their favor, as we do have another kill falling, favoring the minions. So again, it's looking pretty good to their side, but as C4, it can be crucial when it's being popped.
That's going to be the smoke to go down, minute and a half, and that's going to be Legion off the board and a second to fall. And now it's all on the shoulders of Valkyrie. C4 not going to amount to anything, and that's the plant going down. As it takes shots in, going to rotate to the doorway. Thatcher has no clue, but is going to find the kill anyways, and that is another flawless round to be had.
Quite beautifully, and this is what I meant. The 3 round rotation done, right? We have won the basement floor, we have won the top floor, we've won the middle floor. Now, we've secured 3 pawns in our hands, but what have we also done in the meantime? We've given away our strats, we've given away how we are defending these 3 sites. Now, Minions had enough time to come up with a counter plan for each of these sites. Looking at the basement spot, they get absolutely annihilated the last time they were attacking it. They were in a 1v5 scenario themselves. This time it was just in a reverse. It was the defensive side being in a 1v5 scenario, just favoring quite a lot of the minions. They understood where they had to go, and they understood what they had to do there in order to secure this round. Now we have the Nerd Defense League going back again downstairs, adapting a little bit with their operator lineup, as we can see this time. We've brought the Goya, we've brought the Mozzie, which are 2 new additions to the team in this round. But can Minions adapt to this thing? And this is why I meant here, we would need to see a Twitch, maybe something that can get rid of these Goya canisters, because they're holding for quite a long time, right? We have 1, 2, 3 in server. That takes so much time unless we can disable them with one thing. Those are the Ash charges, and I believe that's the only thing they can use here in this game to get rid of these Goya charges. Otherwise, they're gonna have to wait them out, and that's just gonna take so much time away from them.
Yeah, this is the Goyo strat on bank is prevalent because it works, right? And if you don't bring something to counter it, yeah, you're gonna fall victim to the time. Now we are gonna see the Iana start to take a look as we push into this first floor, making sure that they're not going to have any surprises in stock here. As they try to take some of this first floor play. It's going to be the Amaru to run up into 2F. And you're going to see basically the same sort of thing. Oh, and there it is. There's the Amaru in. It's going to take the Solus off the board yet again, and that is going to be body bounce tipped back in favor of the Minions. As I think you said it, word of the day, adaptability. And they're just knowing how to play the strats. Now, we still have some time in our favor, and we still have a couple of operators on the other side, on the attack side, that are, of course, going to take their time before getting in the site. The Bravo is doing their job, droning it out. That's going to be another kill. So Superior are going to find one as well, and that's heavily in their favor. Seems like they have found LDL's number and are definitely capitalizing on it.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Exactly, but this round, as much as it looks minion-side, it still can go to Leonard's Defense League. Just for the matter of fact, because of these gold canisters, because of the 2 C4s they have in the pocket, because of so much denial when they trying to push this server down, when they're trying to go down there with the plant. At this time, for the minions, if they drone it out, as soon as they get the information, they should be looking for other entry points. As I already mentioned, this map is quite versatile. They can just go in and attack from different sides. If they see server is not working out, there are 3 Goya chances to say they have TC4 still on the board, which you can tell by the operator lineups. So they know there's a Mozzie, they know there's a mute. For the matter of fact, they've droned over the entire side. The drones have been mute jammed, maybe even captured one of them. Now they need to turn around. You can go lobby, you can go elevate, you can go down the main stairs. Try to find other entry points. So we see Hog is exactly doing that.
Ooh, that's going to be a kill, taking the Iana off the board. And you said it, Goyo canister's still out. It's 26 seconds, and now we're on the hurry up and wait scenario. It is going to be the Amaru coming down the back end. She's going to try to catch somebody on the rotate on the flank, and she does, and that's going to be one down as the plant starts to go. And C4 does ring out and stop that plant, and with 11 seconds left, that was a huge pick. Now into a 2v2. Plant going back down again, still a C4 on the board. Is he close enough to use it? He's not. It's a post plant that now goes down, and it is going to be, oh, that was a huge pick taking him down. Now it is into a 2v1, all resting on the shoulders of Mozzie. Does send out a C4 to get himself a little bit better of an angle. Got to have 7 seconds on the board, folks, to see the plant diffuse. So 20 seconds in which to find these 2 kills, and it's going to be a difficult one. Takes the rotate, takes a bit of a pre-fire, looks up towards the hatch. No idea where anybody's at. This is a haunted house scenario, and he's going to try to go for the long arm here. That's going to be the start of it, but easy peasy, skeleton keysy. Going to take him out. That's the buck to clean it up.
But if you look at it, it was quite close. It went down from a 3v5 all the way to 2v2, where you don't want to be, especially when you're attacking this map. Yes, the minions have done great adaptation, which I meant the Amaru going down the main stairs, seeing you can't just push down one way, you can't just take this one-sided thing to keep pushing down. You gotta bring a little bit variety in your attacks, especially when it comes. You have lobby hatch, you have elevator hatch, you have main stairs, so many entry points, even garage. But from the last time they've attacked it, they know there was somebody playing garage, and those are already great adaptations coming in from the side of the minions. They know what they had to do against it. They waited out this time. Again, they could have went for a different side, but they decided to wait out the gore charges, maybe wait out the C4s. Just went down to a close 2v2, which could have been dealt differently, but they got the win.
Yeah.
This is what matters for their side, but because now they secure 2 points, and as I said, this is theoretically all they need to make it a 4-2. Is a default swap, favoring defense, so we could see a default swap here, but we could also see a neutral scoreline if minions have adapted enough to know what they need to do in order to win this round.
Yeah, and I think that's the key here. This is the decisive round, right? Ooh, a little bit of damage done on accident, but no harm, no foul. This is the decider round. This is the decisive round. Who's gonna have the dominant series? Are we gonna see that standard split with the 4-2? Because if I'm a Minions fan and we take it to 3-3, I'm feeling real good about going into my defensive half for sure. So you're gonna see a little bit of early activity as you can hear those ash charges starting to go off. Flores drone starting to take care of some of this extension util, right? Get some of those castles off the board. Get those Malusis gone, stuff that's going to make that last minute execute just a little bit tougher. Now we talked about the repel, and it is already getting in, trying to see if he can find somebody, but it's to get the castle off the barricade. Open up some of those sight lines, make sure they're not getting caught out by a C4 on the repel here.
You just need to be careful, and as I said, a key position here for the attacking side are those windows, are those square holes. But they can be denied by a single swing into lobby, which here again, it does not seem like that minions have anything to work against it. Maybe they have a drone giving them the information, but the defense, they could just take this into their hands. They could swing a little bit the lobby side and just make sure that the window players have some thing to worry about, as we do have the first pick happening and it favors the defensive side. And now this is one of the few rounds where minions haven't secured themselves the opening pick, and normally if we look at the rounds back, this could mean that offensive could here take the win.
Jeez, what a shot. Mad gonna take Superior off the board. That's gonna get body bounce tipped heavily in favor of LDL. So we just, okay. Gets traded out immediately. Still body bounce is gonna sit in their favor. Is gonna be Lunar to find the Iana off the board. Traded back, and now it's gonna be Snitch to find 2 back-to-back, taking us yet again into a 2v2. We're equalized up here for the last 44 seconds. So Twitch coming up, gonna find a beautiful headshot around the corner. Pre-fire through, not gonna amount to anything, so she's gonna rotate around because the plant's starting to go down, get a cross set up. It is the castle providing a little bit of cover, but not enough, as the F2 says goodnight.
That's also done and set for the 6th round of defense for Lunar Defense League, as they're now going to be moving to the attacking side, and we have a 3-3 neutral swap, and this is favoring the minions. So do like defender side, it matter. Oh, that was a beautiful shot coming through. Good rotation there. Did leave his teammate a little bit long in a solo play there, but had the luck. Zaka, the information was there, given I believe by a drone, as we saw earlier being deployed with one of his teammates. That he's not quite on spot, he can just stick that plant in area. Now, we do have the minions now defending, and we saw them make great adaptations on the attack. We saw them how they can change up the entire attacking round in the round as well, how they can adapt to their enemies. Can Lunar's Defense League do the same thing? Or is Minions gonna walk away here with a clean defensive side? As we are starting on the basement spot, they already understand how to work. As I said, first 2 rounds, gotta get to know each other. Then they now get to know each other, basically. 3 rounds in a row, minions won. Haven't dropped after the 3 rounds a single round, and they could extend their lead here, but maybe Lunar Defense League have something to say about that.
Yeah, potentially, right? We're going to see a lot of investment into the roam game here, as both Hog and Alex going to put themselves on some typically roaming operators. Solus and Vigil going to be on the board here. I like the Vigil call. We're going to see a lot more of him as the Deimos starts to gain traction. You know, and so getting kind of used to him right now is huge. You got a lot of dedication up to this 2F floor, so you're going to see that early push, and there it is. It's going to be mad to take Hog off the board, and that's the Vigil gone, and already one of the Goyle canisters down. It's that Twitch you were talking about earlier. Get rid of some of that extension util or that pre-plant denial util. You're going to set yourself up set yourself up heavy for a pretty easy execute.
Exactly. Twitch can get rid of the Goyle charges. The only thing that she can't quite get rid of is the pockets, toxic babe canisters from the smoke. But other than that, get rid of the Goyle charges, worry about the smokes later. But it is variety, right? They don't have to push server. It's not a necessity they have to do. They can go down for lobby drops. So many things they can do, as they still also have the Hibana in play. They also have secondary heartbeat gadgets from the bug. They can just open up every single hatch and then potentially later on do a split take. Somebody drops there, some people drop there, and then whatever kind of open up, that is where we send the diffuser. Right, we also have the Fetcher in order to help with the hatches, but it doesn't really matter because Fetcher, even though there is no Kaid, can be used to disable the gadget from Solus, can be used to disable the Womidis, which then can be used for flashbangs. Smoke, so much utility, and I think they brought a good roundabout on utility from Leonard's Defense League. On their boat, they have smokes, they have flashbangs. And they've used so far every heartbreak gadget they have. So everything is open. But where does the push come from? 35 seconds? They have to decide sooner or later.
Yep, and it looks like we're going to see a little bit of dedication towards that server area. They did get it opened up with the can opener, and it is going to be the back plant going inside. And it's a 4-4 here, but they are going to find... Oh, the double kill and stop that plant immediately as the long distance angle being held by Goyo is absolutely huge. He's going to look and find himself another one. They don't know where he's sitting at. So 20 seconds left. They're going to push in. He's going to start waiting for the plant. He doesn't even need to because the homies smoke. Got those canisters still one in hand, so they're going to be able to deny this plant. They're going to have to go for a little bit of that hatch instead. The drop down, the shots into the vault, but going to lose that gunfight as now we find ourselves into a 4v2. It's all playing out for the defense here, and it is going to be a defensive win. 20-second meta in full effect. A long angle being held expertly here.
Beautifully denied by the minions. Used the toxic babe canisters at the last 20 seconds. 3 in the pocket to set. So there's so many things they've done right here, and also all of these kills, all of these taken 1v1s favoring the minions. And LDL, they couldn't do much about it. They tried to go in for the drop, but they focused a little bit here too much on the server, and there we can take the comparison, right, to the minions. In the first round they have won was the basement spot, and it was that adaptation coming through, not only pushing from one side, not only pushing from the server side, but also sending somebody in the back. Last time I believe I saw him drop elevate, then go down the main stairs, you know, bring a little bit of variety and make them unsure where you're gonna be, what are you actually doing, right? And this is what we didn't see here. We saw all of them kind of being on that one-sided server, and we knew as soon as the flashbang's coming in from red drop, he's gonna drop down red, he's gonna drop down at open area, he's gonna do it. The flashbang's indicated, and it's just a normal thing. If you put one and one together, it's gonna come out. And minions reacted beautifully by it, by falling back, not playing the reinforcement, and waiting for the drop to happen, securing the kill, and then swinging in with the confidence, because you know the red drop is denied. There's not gonna be a second one, as we do know, and we had the man count on server.
Yeah, so Castle going to be played yet again here on the 2F location, as you'll see him start to cut off some of those important angles. Going to do a little bit of dedication to slowing you down, right? A bit of site redirect, both Azami and Castle going to be utilized here. The Architect and Castle. I love the combo here, right? Really does a huge job at funneling and deciding where the attackers can attack from, which sets you up your own little kill box. So we have on the attack side of it as well, going to go for a little bit of that intel as both Zero and the B-Man going to be on the board. And I especially love the B-Man here because you get a couple of Bs into sight. If you find out that nobody's sitting in the primary site there, then it's a get your cross set up on the windows, one coming up that marble stale area or potentially through top square, and then your cross is set up and you're going for the plant. So we're going to see our first bit of exchange happen as Zofia going to take a ton of damage, but able to WASD her way out there into some safety. Now we find ourselves back to that hurry up and wait pattern as we're going to re-drone it out.
Not only do we find ourselves joining out the spot trying to collect the roam, but also we found ourselves now in a man disadvantage, as Sophia taking a lot of damage. But the person she has done damage to and the person she has received damage from are both not taken out. There's a back to a 4v4, equal man count, and half of the round is nearly over. We're soon down to the last minute of this round, and the attacking side, they haven't secured too much, as we now see Alex retaking the spot down below. As soon as that plan comes in, the Solis, great addition here, great and very dangerous operator there, could potentially be the big reason why they lose this.
Now the flank coming up the stairs. Is she going to see it? Yeah, and they're going to find the B-Man. Gonzo looking for that potential on the run out. Now puts us into a 3v2, all resting on the shoulders of the Zero and of the Ash. Now, if there's anybody that can do it, Ash is sitting 8-5. Madbin having an incredible game. He finds one to equalize, and this looks like it could be back into the hands of the attackers. But got to win that first engagement, and there it is. It is going to be Zero to find it, as we find ourselves now into a 2v2. 20 seconds left on the board. It's going to be the rotate around to the E3 area, looking to find him. Oh, takes a couple of shots towards the stock area, not going to be successful. 15 seconds, should have just waited that one out. Now it's going to be the swing coming from Azami, puts us into a 1v2, all on the shoulders of Zero. Does find one, now down into a 1v1. 4 seconds left, he's going to have to go for the frags here. He's running up, and that's going to be the shot. No way do the attackers bring that back.
No way, jeez. One, unbelievable. I was just thinking, don't turn away, keep pushing, keep swinging. But we saw a little bit of doubt coming through from LDL. Elias, as we see here in this 1v1, he did see the operator, he did saw it, wanted to retweet it back, and I lost it in a heartbeat. He stopped there for a second, but the swing came in, and he took the win, and he secured his team one round. Now this is up to a 4-4-4, so this is closer than the match before, and this is why I like, and the community wasn't quite sure which one of these two teams are going to win, and it was a 85 to 42%. LDL had 42 and the Minions had 85, and look, as we looked at our production staff predictions, Jesus, ton breaker. Anyway, it was also pretty much a 50-50, right? And this shows to us why it was a pretty 50-50. Both of these two teams are so capable of winning these 1v1s, so it doesn't really come down to the mechanical part if a team wins or loses the round. It comes down to the execution, to the team play, and so far I think we've seen amazing plays and great plays from both of these two teams. Like, unreal, especially Minions coming back, but it's in this 1v2 scenario, finding both 2 kills, and the Mute even had the shotgun out in close range. It was just the first headshot, but landed it. Now round number 9, and I think we have a lot more rounds to go. And I do think, and I'm gonna say it here, my jinx is cast accursed. I think we're gonna see an overtime.
Ooh, and I hope so. I told you what I love. Oh, man. Going to open up that castles, knows that the explosive potential is there, so he gets himself out of harm's way. Leave it up for a second, takes a second peek, and then, of course, open up those castles. Look at this trench warfare that Azami has secured herself in this E3 area. Well, might help secure that with those discs. This is not a bad hole by the defense here. Didn't work out in their favor, but they lost it to the gunfight. So run it back by both teams is what they decided. we've seen the first minute tick by as the drones are doing what they do. That's going to be the first kill. B-Man off the board. That's going to be some of your intel gone, but it does get traded out as the Wamai going to fall as well, and that's a huge pick, right? 6-6 Wamai. His discs have to recharge over time to be able to be put out. So whatever's on the board is going to stay that way. Zero to find the next death as the shot's going to ring through, and it's going to be Zofia trying to equalize that there, but not going to have any cases. Nobody's going to peek her. It's the shot free-firing onto Janitor as he swings into the top square area. Now got himself a bit of control here.
Ooh, not quite. As his head was exposed, he was... Oh, okay, it was not. I was about to say that if Ash got that kill, I would have been going mad crazy.
Sheesh, okay, 53 seconds left on the board. It's the final push, the final execute, getting ready to push in, and then it's just going to be sound cue galore as those beepers are going off. Kind of trying to bait somebody into taking that swing, which is what we saw the last couple of times. This is a familiar situation. If the attack team can find one yet again, and that is not going to be the case, it does get traded out. Now takes us down into a 1v2. This is a winnable situation here for 10-6 Mad, but he's got to have to find the one kill to equalize. He's got plenty of time to do it. A couple of pre-fires in the strategic places. You said it, it's a one-shot headshot here, so if he finds one, equalizes, has a real good chance of bringing this back. But don't be fooled! 14 seconds left, and the defenders have been in this situation before, so they're on the hold. It is going to have to be the Mad dash in as he's going to try and find himself another kill. But with 5 seconds left, we're looking at it. It's too little, it's too late scenario. We're going to win one to time here.
A bit too late here as we saw the minions playing hide and seek. As the attacker was the seeker and the minions were the hiders. Hiding away, trying to make sure to let the count clock down a little bit. Just trying to bait out here the enemy in this 1v1. Beautifully also done here. But after that, it just wasn't quite enough. As then we just saw the minions hide away a little bit. Each in one corner, holding the crossfire still, I believe, as I saw. And then when it comes down to the clock, you're the attacking team, it takes against you, you're gonna have to accept it at one point. You were slow peeking. So many things I could have done differently from LDL here, which could have secured themselves that round, but it's fine, right? 4v5, definitely a way to come back here. We attacked the side twice now. As we know, minions are great as adapting within the next round, within the same round there. First round they've lost, the second round they've won now there.
10 seconds to go.
Nothing too surprising. They've been good in adapting, and we find ourselves going back down to the basement spots. Can and have LDL adapted enough? And one key operator I see here, which they're bringing new to the board in this round, is instead of a 0, they decided to bring the Nook. Is that going to be the key operator here, or is he just going to find himself taken out as a first, as he's going to be the lurker, as he's going to try to sneak around these corridors, potentially find a kill, to potentially cut off a few operators off rotating up and down, but could also be the potential first kill, as he is most likely going to go in solo.
Yeah. Potentially is going to be it, but a late round pick here is the highlight. Capcan going to be on the board, especially designed to try and take out that roam game that's going to be lurking up from the bottom. So we do have Alex getting active, and look at all of this intel that's just being fed. They know exactly where he's sitting at onto his phone. Gets himself a rotate setup just in case he needs to get back out of there, and it is the first minute gone. That first minute too really is just eating up time, not allowing this team to do any droning, gain any footholds into that top floor real estate, and when they do, they still have a Capcan to fight against.
Beautifully now. Nearly soon half of the round gone. Just 10 more seconds and then we would be the half round timer. And minions, they're still holding pretty much in big control here from the small office. Also kind of open area, still playing the main stats, so they have quite a lot of control here still in their hands, so they can still potentially waste a lot of time here from the attacking team. As we see, they're still trying to get here open areas. We have the first few drops coming in, and this is now the attacking side securing themselves open area, and same as kind of the first floor completely to their side, but don't be fooled. These stairways, they can be quite tricky to deal with. If nobody's watching it, we can have a few minions trying to walk up these stairs. But here, yet again, this is what we talked about at the start of this match, at the start of this map. We have a Goyo, we have a Smoke, we have a Solus, we have a C4 from Capcom, from Hog. So now those are 4 operators which work against time, which were wasting time of your team, and which are also plant denial. Goyo is plant denial, also time denial. So is the Smoke, so is the C4 a plant denial, and so is Solus as she opens up this round with the first kill.
Yep, and that's going to be the Dokkaebi to ring one back as the Smoke's taken off the board, and that's a huge pick, right? That's that late round plant denial going to be gone off the board. And the second to follow is the DMR, going to be absolutely devastating, but it's going to be the Vector to ring out and take the Nook off the board. Jeez, what a shot. Hog going to find Mad, and now as the time ticks down, we're back in the same situation, 9 seconds. It's plant starting to go down. 1 C4 in hand to have. He's going to be able to find it, and that's going to be a Defender win off the back.
Not only was this a defenders-sided win, but also it's one more thing. It is the match point, ladies and gentlemen, as Minions secured themselves now a 6-4. This next round, this next 2 coming rounds potentially could still be quite dangerous. We saw a good, actually it was pretty good execute, right? We had the top floor, we took the middle floor, we had enough time. The hatches, a few hatches were already open, so we didn't need to work to take so much control. We didn't need to take so much time of opening up these hatches, of trying to do an execute. But here again, kind of the same mistake coming in. Not too much variety, going down for the same thing. I would love to see from LDL to come in here and change a few things. I know now it might be a little bit too late to change around too much, maybe try something new. They can still stick to their strats, but at this point, they need to make sure that they bring a lot of variety onto the board, right? They need more people. They can push from one angle, but they need at least 1 or 2 people trying to push from the other side to just not make this one-sided attack yet again. Because twice they've made it, twice they've lost it. The few times they had like multiple different angles coming in, they actually got the win, right? It's 1 round where they had somebody in the window, where they had somebody in lobby, where they had somebody on square. They won the round because there were so many angles that Minions had to watch, which they had to worry about. They couldn't take anyone, like they couldn't take every single angle onto their hand, and after that, it's just the round went to them. So that's what LDL need here: create more angles, create more diversity. Peek from different angles, take different angles, and then they could secure the next 2 rounds, and we would see an overtime. And I do hope I didn't jinx it. I do hope I didn't cast these teams.
It's a potential. You got one of the greatest, strongest caster curses in the game, Diane.
No.
We've seen some devastation out of your caster curse. Okay, so here we go, and that's going to be Mad taking off the board early, and that is a huge win condition met here for the Minions team, and it is Slow Down City. They have both Frost Castle, Capcan, Malusi, all operators designed to say, I wish you would, and I bet you won't. And so they got the body bounce tipped into their favor now. And look at this angle, holding long, watching those stairs to come down. So it is like only maybe 1 or 2 members actually inside, as we've got ourselves extended into office and archives as well. So you're going to see the attack team start to get a little bit active, trying to find some of that verticality. Ace going to start to open up the castle barricade. Not much to be had, though. Only the Ram, the one to be utilized here. And a bit of a dangerous place here once that castle barricade exploded. Just take a prone position and wait for the kill. Interesting. We'll see if it pays off, if they're able to capitalize on it. But it's 1 minute and 16 left here, and we're still 5 and 4 respectively. That means this last minute is going to be frag crazy.
It's going to be quite hot, I would like to say, this last minute, but we're not starting good here as we are in a man disadvantage. We now do bring it back to an equal man count, and this is what we need from LDL as they are on this last standing leg, right? There's no coming back, there's no second map, it is a best of 1. These next 2 rounds need to go into their favor if they want to extend to a potential win. And now they set themselves good up, right? They're in a man advantage now, and they're pushed, and they have pushed back the defensive side quite a lot. And if we shut down Super here, I think this round is pretty much ours. If we take out this 1 player onto the side, the other 2 are pretty far away, and then he's gone in a 4v2. I think it's looking like LDL shake this.
And they do. Look at that.
Yes, I didn't caster curse them.
Well, you kind of did. You took the caster curse onto the castle instead.
Well, yes. I cast a curse to cast a curse. There we go. I worked out the system, guys.
A reversed castle curse. You saw it here first in the ESA, folks. So just like that, Dynic, we're almost tied back up. Let's freaking go.
Listen, I already put down my predictions on the board, right? I said it. I'm not gonna repeat it, right? Because I don't wanna cast a curse, then cast a curse again, because that, you know, like twice no is a yes, but triple no is a no, right?
Gotta be.
See, like trying to like it's so much trying to work the system out, trying to make it not that I'm the problem why they did it. We are still match point on the side of the minions, and LDL did a fantastic job in the last round. Even though they started in a man disadvantage quite long in the round, they had the next 2 kills falling to their favor, took out a key player, which was the caster, which opened up the entire side, right? Because he was alone. They didn't took the trade offer which was going on the other side, but they decided to focus on this one player who was standing alone, take him out, and now we're moving to the top floor, which LDH have won once and lost once. So the odds, it is for both teams, right? Minions have won once and lost it once. It is pretty much 50-50. But it comes down if LDL can do the same thing. Last round we saw them. 2 spots they're taking from. 2 diagonals they're doing. It's not 1, but it's 2. And if they can do it in this round again, if the odds and if the kills fall into their favor as well, the opening picks, if they're careful enough, could potentially see an overtime. But the minions, they have been adapting quite well in the past few rounds. It's pretty much 50-50 here from my side. I couldn't really predict you which team would take this. It would have to come down for the first picks in from the attacking spread.
Yeah. Okay, so back up. 1 round to be played here on potential, as you said it, for overtime. And on the attack side, we're going to see a little bit more effort and investment into dealing with some of this extension util. Both the floors and the sledge going to be on the board. A little bit of damage already done to Superior, but he's able to D his way into some safety. We still have the Wamai playing inside of stock here, looking to get aggressive on those windows should the chance present itself. But really, we're just going to see this attack team really take their time on this, because you said it. Because this is a one-off, a best of one. They don't have another chance in another map. And they're going to have to slow this round down. Really take their time and find out where everybody is sitting and then take those gunfights.
As you said it, now half the round has passed. And as we can see, not a single kill has happened so far, but we do have 2 operators who are very low HP. We have the verticality coming in from the back and the window pressure. And yet again, nobody in lobby to challenge that from the minions to potentially get themselves onto a little cheeky kill there. As the long gameplay, but a trade for each. 1 minute left. It's going to be a tough round.
You ain't lying, and it is going to be frag crazy. Okay, folks, here we go. A potential for a last round here, except for it is going to be Smay to take Superior off the board. Will mind fall. The trades does happen. Now puts us into a 3v2 with the attack team looking pretty good, and then it gets equalized. 39 seconds. Oh man, that was a huge pick taking the ace off the board. Now it's going to find Ash pushing into sight. Going to look to put themselves inside of a plant, but it's going to be all on her shoulders now. And 30 seconds left. It's the rotate around. Is going to get caught out on the Rule 1 running. Takes a couple of pre-fires, but it's not going to do it as the attacker, as the defense going to clean that one up easy.
And that is it. That is the minions taking a win 7-5 at the end. From a 5v5 to down to a 2v2 to down to a 1v2, but just not favoring your side. LDL had an amazing fight, and they were fighting till the end. They had a rough start on the attack. They went back 3-0. After that, they kept losing everyone to the side of the minions. And after that, if you start neutral, and this is what I mean, if you start neutral, you do favor a little bit more into the defensive. If minions then take the defensive side, you're gonna see this defense rounds coming in, and we saw them. They win, but then the attack win. They win, and then the attack win. And what brings it then? That brings them up to a 6-4 4 at the end, 6-5, and it just wasn't quite enough in the last round. It was a top 4 side, but they've done one thing quite well. They've adapted every round. They've adapted to each other in the last round. It just was the 1v1s, which one of them didn't quite work out in their favor.
Yep, that's right. We're going to take a quick look here and see what the bracket has ended up after those last 2 games and see how we're going to be progressing forward. Got some really fun games coming up, eh, Diana?
Exactly. Minutes moving forward. We see LDL moving downwards. They could still win and make it in and be qualified if they win their next match. Matches are not seeded yet, as we still have a few more matches to be played. We don't have every game, but that is how it could potentially look like. On the top part, they qualify both. There's not too much of a risk going on, but in the bottom, we do have a potential still elimination coming through if LDH or whoever moves down to the lower part of the side on this last row there's still an elimination chance, which could be a little bit tricky. But again, you have to see how it is then seeded out perfectly. And I think before we keep you guys a little bit, shaking on the chairs, have a look at the stage 2, how it would look like.
Yeah, interesting. 4 teams up top, 4 teams on the bottom, and work your way all the way through for stage number 2. Not much information to be had here just yet, but of course, we're looking forward to a bunch of great games.
Exactly. And what games do you guys would be seeing tomorrow from here at ESA League? Entropy against Pulsar Legacy, MG Rhaegar against Silent, NLS Ballisted, I don't know, and AGM at the end. So those are 3 best of 1s tomorrow. Today we had a little bit of a shorter day. No, I'm actually bluffing you guys. It were tomorrow 2 best of 1s as well, as one of those games are also a forfeit. I kind of bluffed you guys. I do apologize. My bad there.
Oh. Interesting. Well,
maybe I'm double bluffing. Maybe I'm double bluffing you guys. We have to see tomorrow.
You never know. Dianac's a wild card.
I'm a little bit of a wild card here. It could be 2 best of 1s. Could be 3 best of 1s. I could be double bluffing you guys. I think for that, to see if I'm right or 2, if I'm bluffing you guys, you're gonna have to tune in tomorrow, guys.
That's true. That's true. Okay, well, I think we have come to the end of it. We made it through our 2 best of 1s. They were exciting, to say the very least, a little bit closer on the second one. GG's to everybody that showed up, and we sure appreciate it. There's a lot of CG you could be watching. We appreciate you guys hanging out and watching some ESA Cup with us. But alas, we have come to the dreaded part of the evening where we must bid you adieu. So as the lights start to dim and the jukebox starts to sing closing time. As always, my friends, you can't stay here. You don't have to go home. We'll catch you on the next one. Ayo.
Let's go.